Simpson. And Japan have gone absent without leave. This is Whitmore. Hall and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggae Boys who take the lead.
Ball chat. Greetings, football lovers. Happy Sunday to the football family. Welcome to Ball Chat Podcast. Happy Football Sunday. My name is Benton, one of your hosts, a part of the Ball Chat family. Come on, Wagwan. How you doing, family? I don't want you to start with the madness when it comes to Atlanta United. Don't bother with it in idea. But how you doing, family?
My word. I am doing great. I don't want to hear anybody talk about my DC United ever again, because down in Atlanta, it's a proper party shop.
Party shop indeed. Football family, Atlanta United. Breaking news. Of course, Atlanta United plays in the MLS. Breaking news, Atlanta United have relieved Mr. Gabriel Hines of its head coaching duty, head coaching responsibilities. And we'll get to that in a second. We'll discuss that in a second. And we also discuss Gold Cup action. Fascinating game last night with Honduras and Panama. We'll discuss the Reggae Boys, recap of the Reggae Boys week of play, and get ready for Costa Rica as the Reggae Boys look to try to dominate or win Group C. If you're watching us on FlowSports YouTube page, if you watch our Ball Chat YouTube page, Ball Chat Facebook page, or Periscope, or Twitter, or Twitch, anyone, you can join the show. It's a live and interactive show. Come on, but let's get to the news. Let's not waste any time. Gabriel Hines, big bad Gabriel Hines, a formerly of Manchester United, of course, a formerly of Argentinian fame, joined Atlanta United's coaching staff in December, took the helm, the head coaching duties. He went 2-4-7 in this role. I can't remember the last time they won a game. I think it was April 7th. Your thoughts? Was this really a sharp move for you? You think this is too early?
Listen, he is not getting along with the star player from Atlanta. It's the same foolishness we saw in Toronto. You know, when the coach not getting along with the star player. Josie, he was training away from the team, training by himself. See, the coach got let go. Same thing with your guy. The coach say he doesn't want to discuss it, but your boy Joseph was training actually away from the team. And see, them was like a 1-0 game. Yes, they weren't playing their best. But at this point, you kind of realize, are the star players them run the team. So I don't know if it's too early. I've seen worse coaches from different MLS teams get a longer rope to kind of hang themselves. So it was kind of, it's expected because Atlanta spent all this money, and for them to be one of the top clubs, and no, they're not doing well, they're, might not reach the playoffs, then maybe something drastic had to be taken. But I just think it was a bit too early to get rid of the coach. Now they're talking that Frank the boy is talking about coming back.
And that's always the issue, football family. You're joining Ball Chat Podcast. We're talking about this breaking news as Gabriel Hines, former head coach of Atlanta United, was relieved from his duties. He took the post in December of last year. The head president of football operation, Darren Eales, says, quote, "This was certainly not a decision we wanted to make at this point in our season, but it was the right one for the club. Gabby is a talented coach and is undeniably passionate about his craft and the sport of soccer." Imagine you call football soccer. We are grateful to him for his service and wish him all the best. Like I said, he went 2-4-7. Defensively, the team, we watched them yesterday against New England Revolution. Defensively, the team was out to lunch. The last victory was April 27th. There is a clash or some sort of disagreement between him and Joseph Martinez, the so-called king of this team. I have, as a fan of Atlanta United, and I reside here in the A, I am a fan of Joseph Martinez, but I'm also not cool with a player being put on this sort of pedestal as what has been done here with Joseph Martinez. He's pretty much given the red carpet treatment here in Atlanta. They label him as king. And I always have this notion we want to build a team, not a one-man thing. Apparently, there was a disagreement between him and get coach Gabriel Hines. Hines was adamant about leaving him out of the yesterday's starting lineup. And so Hines is the one who get the door. You can't pick a fight with the so-called king. And essentially, he ended up being the man looking out. Julian Gressel tweeted, of course, Julian Gressel, formerly of Atlanta United, he was part of that Atlanta United team, but he's now with your DC United. He tweeted an image of Joseph Martinez with the trophies and with the crown. Your thoughts on that image? I mean, Julian Gressel, you're gone at DC United. Stay out of Atlanta United business, brother. Come on.
Hey, him have time for the hands now, because this year run like a well-oiled machine. So him have time for the hands. But I think it was in poor taste. You know, I don't know what they're trying to say, that a team is only as good as this one player. Is that what they're saying? If the coach have a problem with star players, are you going to say that the coach must suck salt through wooden spoon for fear of losing their jobs? I think it just leaves a bad taste in coaches' mouth when they're held accountable, you know, versus a player being held accountable. You know, we can't have these star players dictating the team. There's no way on earth Joseph Martinez is supposed to be Atlanta United. It's 11 players on the pitch. So, you know, the coach put the best players out there. And yes, they lost. I mean, when they lost 1-0. But I mean, how many games have we seen Joseph on the pitch and they've lost as well? So I think it's a bad precedent. Toronto did it, as I said. No, Atlanta is doing it. It's going to be interesting to see if other teams follow suit if a star player is not doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. And there aren't any sense in this whole firing, because the quest, if you sack a coach, 13 games in a hire, then what does that say about the front room staff for go ahead and making this hire in the first place? Clearly, they have made the wrong decision in regard to hiring Gabriel Hines for that role. If they decided that, 13 games in, he's not the man for the job. I mean, so Darren Eales, Carlos Bocanegra, those men in charge of football decision-making operation at Atlanta United, have to do some self-assessment themselves. So, Atlanta United...
But isn't Bocanegra going to be the person in charge? Is he going to take over? Was that the plan all along? I mean, you know, he's the TD? Is he going to step in as the coach?
No, so assistant coach Rob Valentino will take over as interim head coach. Well, we don't turn party shop yet. Talk about the side. Rob Valentino will take over the role as an assistant coach. I mean, Prime Minister and I, big up yourself, Prime Minister. We both have attended Atlanta United games together, and we've been through this dark phase with Atlanta United. But look, imagine when Frank de Boer was here, we were winning. Let's take quickly. We'll discuss MLS. Get your thoughts on MLS as we're on this Gabriel Hines news quickly, and just get it out of the way before we get to Gold Cup and Jamaican football news. You spoke about Atlanta United not in the playoff on. Let's take a look at the standing and see where your DC United is sitting.
Why? I mean, why are you like that?
No, because I mean, currently, so New England is the standard bearer. Atlanta United, you know, sitting in 10th position, and rightfully so, parted ways with Gabriel Hines after 13 games in charge. DC United is one above them. Your thoughts on things in the MLS? Come on, and the state of play with Philadelphia in second place in the East. Or is it too early?
And it's early. And the funniest thing to Philadelphia not even playing not good football to be up there. Most of the time Andre Blake saved them. New England just as scrappy. I mean, like, I'm not really impressed with the play of football, the level of football in MLS this season. It's scrappy football. So yes, you rightfully say DC is in ninth. Atlanta is in 10. This is 3 points ahead of Atlanta. And you fire this man. I mean, like, what is it? What is it that they expect from this man? Yes. It's just crazy. Nashville still keeping them coach. Nashville fifth. Columbus is in sixth place, right? And only what? 7 points ahead of Atlanta. It's a madness this.
Yeah, but I think
you would think you listen. If anybody must fire them, coach is Inter Miami.
I, I, I know you're about to big up Stell of Shoot the Defense podcast. Check out Shoot the Defense podcast and the entire family there. Big up Stell. Stell says the longer he isn't playing, the more his value reduces. If the results were good, then Hines would be vindicated. Poor results and a fallout with the Golden Boy never ends well for the manager. I see Phil Neville is doing a good job. Phil Neville and Inter Miami sitting at the base in the Eastern Conference of the MLS standing. But I think part of the sacking of Gabriel Hines is the fact that Gabriel is very feisty. He's picked quite a few arguments here in the Atlanta. He's picked arguments with MLS regarding their rules. He picked arguments with Coach Jim Curtin of the Philadelphia Union. So he's a fiery type of manager, and he hasn't made many friends. And to that end, the results is not going well. I can only imagine a meeting with Darren Eales and Bocanegra and Gabriel Hines being a very testy one, because he has not essentially bent over or conformed to Atlanta United brass. So.
Yeah, but that can't be one of the. Look at it. Ben also was a little,
fire himself.
Matic as well.
Yeah.
But and the results had to be. I mean, like at some point, DC realized that the stands were empty because the results were poor, and he still had a job. Caleb Porter is another problematic coach in MLS. He cost everybody. Want to fight everybody. Remember when him boxed out Qatar?
Yes.
I mean, like, and he still is. They don't let him go. He still has a job. So as Stell said, the value of Joseph is dropping, and the Golden Boy, and they just had is either him or the coach. And we talk about this all the time, that players are not held accountable. Coaches are the ones that really have the buck stop with them, and sometimes it is fair. And sometimes it's unfair.
It's yes. And Stell said also, but they knew what Hines was all before they brought him in. Yeah, I mean, they knew what he was getting. They knew he was at Vélez Sarsfield in Argentina, and there was a lot of fanfare about bringing Gabriel, but why? Atlanta United kind of dark. And so, breaking news, Atlanta United has parted way with their manager after 13 games. We'll see what happened. Assistant manager Rob Valentino will take over in the interim role. Let's take quickly, as we continue our MLS recap, before we get to Gold Cup, since we're on MLS, discussing MLS in our own news in our own backyard. Over in the Western Conference, things is just early days yet. I mean, Minnesota, it seems, can't really get it together pretty much with all.
Beat Seattle today. I think it was the 9th try by Minnesota to beat Seattle, and they got it done today with a late goal in the 81st minute. So they had a 1-0 victory today. So I mean, it's not too bad. They're not far off the pace. Seattle has 29 points, Sporting 26. And FC Dallas is the one that people need to talk about. They're investing heavily in their youth. They're transferring players out. They're having the money, but they're last in the standings. So don't worry about Minnesota. They're in playoffs. They're up top because it's the top 7 goes to playoffs.
Yeah.
They're in 6th. And today when I saw them play, they didn't look bad. They weren't poor. So I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, big up to Justin Master, Jamaican's own Justin Master, playing for Minnesota.
Justin has not played in a long time.
Yeah.
Justin has been an unused sub for at least 4 games.
Okay, so he's not getting many minutes on the park.
No, he's not getting any minutes.
Yeah,
Like I think 4 or 5 games sub on the bench, 0 minutes. So okay.
yeah. Wait, well, go on. All right, it seems like United States already scored against Canada. Let's 1-0. All right. So any more?
In the 20th second.
And what kind of foolishness does Canada come forward with right now? Before we
No,
get
that's
to
okay. That's okay. We need to win our group and we need to grab Canada and beat them like a drum.
that's a fast start. What, a minute in, the United States is taking a 1-0 lead against Canada. We'll get to Gold Cup action here in a second. United States 1-0. Who's the goal scorer?
More.
More with the goal scorer.
Eligible for Trinidad, shot more.
Okay.
Wendell Moore's son.
Yes, so Mr. Moore with the goal for Canada, for US, as US takes a 1-0 lead. We'll get to Gold Cup action right now. So come on, let's just pivot quickly to Gold Cup action. Just to remind football fans, Gabriel Hines is out as a head manager in Atlanta. Before we pivot to Gold Cup action, anything you want to say about MLS before we pivot away from it?
No, the quality just not there this season. So, it is what it is. My side are going good. Hopefully, the coach can get his cup in his first season with DC.
Okay, you go easy, come on. And big up to Coach Losada, who's also in his first season at DC United, and he's an Argentinian.
I think he's the youngest coach in MLS.
Yeah, let's see
He's playing the young kids. He's playing the kids.
Let's see if he will follow Gabriel Hines. All right, let's step over to Gold Cup action, and Gold Cup action currently going on. We're going to discuss the landscape of things in Gold Cup. Concacaf Gold Cup action. Canada is playing USA. Score is currently 1-0 in favor of the USA. We'll take a look at each group. Come on, this is a shock start here with this 1-0 lead by USA over Canada. I mean, of course, Canada is without their golden boy Alphonso Davis, but this is surprising.
It's not really surprising. It's really not surprising. USA started with a powerful squad. To me, DK and Zardes, they're fast, they're strong, they're physical, they're goal scorers. So it's an attacking minded lineup from them. For Canada, I mean, like, even with Alphonso Davis, kind of like all the people them have is like Tejan Buchanan, who they're trying to push really hard, and he's okay. And the Kyle Lauren, who sometimes he misses, sometimes he scores. So I expected a competitive game. The 1-0 scoreline, it's early, but I'm not surprised. But it's early. It's early time, man. You have what? 80 minutes left. Come on, Benton. 87 minutes leaving of the game. Enough game leave.
Yeah, early warm. Let's take a look at Group B since we're talking about the Canada and the US matchup. Let's take a look at the landscape of things in Group E heading into today's game. Of course, Haiti and Martinique are holding up round our back. It's all about USA and Canada. Canada has a slight advantage just by the mere fact they've scored one more goal. So the US needs a victory here to kind of take the lead to top the group.
Nope. USA goal difference is 7 to Canada 5.
Yeah, because
so USA is leading So with the 9 points.
Yeah, with the current standing now going in,
right?
Going in with today's results as it stands currently. USA.
Okay, go Canada. Who's all right?
Wait, so Canada has started up? No, it's still 0. So as it currently stands, USA is leading the group with the 1-0 lead. Let's take.
I'm manifesting it.
You're manifesting it. We'll discuss why Group B is important in terms of Jamaica's run in a second. Let's take a look at Group A as we will update football fans on this USA versus Canada game. What's the score of the Martinique versus Haiti game? Is that 0-0?
0-0.
Okay.
Still 0-0.
Yeah, I guess no. And your thoughts on any thoughts on those two teams? Any big takeaway for that?
Why are we watching? Why are we concerned about Haiti and Martin? They're going home.
Yeah, but
Well,
they are part of the whole Caribbean culture. We all always want our Caribbean teams to continue. At least me, I would always like our Caribbean teams to continue to build and get better because the more of us do better, the better it is for the Caribbean football. That's my position.
know that. Like Greg is saying that USA and Canada, they are the top teams in Concacaf. I'm a laugh because I'm like, not Canada, yeah, Canada, they're resurging. And I'm like, sir, what are we, chop liver? What is Mexico?
And that is Greg, I think Greg Berhalter.
MCM1.
Okay.
MCM1.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Head coach of the U.S. All right, let's take a look at Group A and get your thoughts on Group A with your so-called big team, Mexico. All right, so Mexico, your big team is not sitting at the helm. They'll play El Salvador tonight. Your thoughts on what Mexico has shown so far in this tournament, and are you surprised that El Salvador is doing this well and leading the group?
No. El Salvador. I'm just surprised that even though Guatemala was a late addition and they're playing their U23 players, I was just surprised that them get them little tushy beat up like that.
Yeah.
But El Salvador play, and they've always done this. It's not like it's new. It's just that they're falling off in recent years where they play the same way like Panama and Honduras. They play the same kind of football, fast paced, a little bit technical when they have weaker opponents. So I expect Mexico to beat them tonight. It's going to be a very physical game, fast paced game, time wasting game, foul filled game. But I think El Salvador is okay. They're going to be maybe second in the second in the group. That's my prediction.
Let me ask you. I know this is a controversial issue around Concacaf and this P word, and the fans chant. I'm sorry,
1-0 Haiti.
Oh, well, Haiti's leading 1-0 in Group B matchup against Martinique. Do you think that Concacaf need to be a bit more aggressive in enforcing this so-called rule that they have in place in terms of this P chant in terms of Mexican fans?
What are they going to do? I mean, like they've been trying to do this for the longest time. And I don't think they're really serious because fans in the stadium, butts in the seat, generate income. And we know it's all about the money. They're saying that they're going to take away, the fans' ability to come into the game if they continue to do this. We've been hearing about this, 2 years, 3 years now, and they still have not done it. So I think now that we are, trying to stamp out racism and the homophobic terms, I am hopeful that they'll go ahead and do something. Fans not in the stadium would be a start.
Tonight's a huge game for Mexico, a huge game for El Salvador. Of course, we'll get to tonight's schedule in a second. But we've been to many games with Mexican fans. I cannot see a game where Mexican fans are not doing this chant. I cannot, and if they're not doing it as I expect that they won't. I mean, you expect Concacaf to back down, or the official?
Hold a second. This should be a penalty to Canada. Should be a penalty to Canada. It's on the line. It's a penalty to Canada. Has to be.
Football family, we're doing a show and we're giving live update on USA versus Canada as Cameroon is demanding a penalty. There seems to be a foul on Wood. Is it Lauren on the edge?
I don't think it's Lauren. I think it's Lauren or whatever his name is. I think it's we will see. We'll see what VAR does. It's on the line.
Yeah,
but I'm watching it on mute, so I'm not hearing what the commentators are saying. But anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it seems like a foul
this is
on Laria. Yeah, it seems like Laria is pretty much down. We'll wait and see what the official Cameroon is demanding a penalty. All right, focus, Cameroon. Let's back on this Mexico team. You expect the fans to chant tonight, and if they do chant, will the three-step protocol that's in place by Concacaf be enforced by them to abandon the game? Angus Eve of Trinidad said that they should have gotten the 3 points, and they're not enforcing the rule. Do you expect them to do that tonight against El Salvador?
I don't. I don't. I think they'll stop it one time, go as far as 2, but I think 3 times and the whole rule and stop the game, abandon the game, I think it will just throw the entire tournament in disarray. It's not going to be too much. So I think it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, that call, they're replaying, the VAR is taking a look at the Laria foul. I mean, is it a PK? They're still assessing to see if it's a penalty or not. USA versus Canada, 1-0 to USA, 12 minutes in the game. It seems like the American player came off worse than actual Laria. So let's see how...
Or he's acting.
Because
he fell. Look, he fell. Yeah, please, boy.
And so if
it's not in the box, if it's not in the box, it's on the line. If it's on the line, there's the indentation. There's the mark right there. If it's not on the line, what is this madness?
So you think this should be a penalty to Canada?
Apparently not. Because they're not setting it up like a penalty.
No, it's a corner kick. It's a corner kick. No penalty given. So corner kick to Canada. 1-0 USA leads in the 12th minute of play. Let's get back to regular scheduled programming and look at Group C in Concacaf Gold Cup action. Of course, Group C have Jamaica and Costa Rica, Guadeloupe and Suriname. And it's all about Costa Rica versus Jamaica. You saw Costa Rica the other night. We'll preview Jamaica versus Costa Rica coming up in a second. But you saw Costa Rica the other night against Suriname. Your thoughts on that game as they defeated Suriname 2-1?
If Suriname was a better team, it would have been a different outcome. So the same thing when they played against us. They were better. They were more clinical. And maybe if we were the third game for them, it would have been a different outcome as well. Costa Rica, they were okay. I mean, I don't think that they're really, really that good at. We are supposed to be afraid of them. I expect us to take the 3 points from Costa Rica. But the Costa Rica-Suriname game was a little bit interesting. Suriname kind of showed, some weaknesses in the Costa Rican game. So I hope Whitmore and his crew was watching. So it was an okay game, but nothing great.
Yeah, we'll discuss Jamaica versus Costa Rica here in a second as we preview that game coming up on Tuesday. Let's step over to Group D and look at CONCACAF Gold Cup action in Group D. So remind football listeners, Group C, Costa Rica and Jamaica both tied on 6 points. Costa Rica has a slight advantage in the goal difference department because of scoring one more goal than Jamaica. So let's step over to Group D, and this is really where Group D has been quite interesting. Honduras, Qatar, Panama. Honduras sitting on 6 points, Qatar 4 points, Panama sitting on 1 point, and of course Grenada is the beating stick on nothing. Come on, we saw Qatar defeated Grenada yesterday. We saw an excellent game, in my opinion, last night with Honduras and Panama. Your thoughts on the lay of land of things in Group D?
It was the best game of the tournament. Honduras versus Panama was end-to-end action. I mean, it was excellent. Goals from all angles. Masterclass in time wasting. I always like to see the new ways that you can time waste. But it was a good game. And I think Qatar is not to be underestimated as well. It's going to be a tough fight for, Panama to kind of make it out of this group. But it's doable. It is doable because Grenada is a beat. Anybody playing Grenada is sure of 3 points. So it's going to be rough between Honduras and Qatar. And I think it's going to be interesting. It really is. So Panama have to pray that Honduras beat Qatar and that they beat Grenada by a lot of goals for them to go through. And so, as I said, Group D is kind of like the group to be.
Yeah, it's a very tricky group. Before we get back into Panama, before we get back to Qatar, I meant, what went wrong for Panama last night? They went behind 1-0, took the lead 2-1, but somehow could not see that game out last night.
I don't think it's what went wrong for Panama. It's what went right for Honduras.
Oh, really?
That final goal, that pass, that takedown. I mean, like, it was sublime. It was a sublime ball to his feet. Take it down like a magnet attached to it, and he just, put it home for Honduras. So it's not that Panama did not try. They tried. They came close to getting an equalizer on a couple of occasions, but it's not what Panama did wrong. I think it's what Honduras did right.
Okay. And talk about Honduras. We were impressed with their style of play. The speed, they started out so fast. And we were saying that you cannot maintain this level of intensity. I mean, they press high up the field, recover the ball. Of course, Kyoto was lethal for this team. Your thoughts? Are you surprised by this
I'm not surprised.
excellent-looking Honduran team?
I'm not surprised. Honduras, El Salvador play the same way. Fast, attacking football. Most of the time when people beat Honduras and El Salvador, it's on the counter because they're pressing so high, so them leave, a little bit to be desired in the defensive half of the game. But it was crazy. And remember, I was joking to say, a trouble now because people change them shirt and watch them face.
Yeah,
so everybody come back all fresh and everything, and it was a different ball game. I think when they knew that they had Panama on the ropes, I think they just decided to go all in. I was really surprised that they continued that high intensity football for 90 plus minutes. It was crazy.
Yeah, Honduras looking very impressive. Coach Koto and Honduras, they look very, very impressive. So, Group D again. Panama need a result against Grenada, and they also need Honduras to beat Qatar. Are you at all impressed with Qatar, aka Africa United?
Absolutely. I mean, yesterday, I was talking to a friend yesterday, like, Barcelona-esque. They were like passing the ball.
Don't diss Barcelona.
Hey, you're lucky somebody that said good something about Barcelona. I mean, they control the ball well, Benton. The passing was excellent. The one-touch passing was great from Qatar. It was pretty football at times. They just looked a little bit, kind of out of it. Probably closer to the end of the game. But they actually played good football. So it's going to be...
Come on, it was against Grenada. It was against Grenada.
Yeah, but even when they played Panama, it was a sweepy draw. It was still good football. And Tapa always talk about that the Jamaica team will grow in the tournament. We're seeing it with other teams as well going into the tournament. And I think Qatar, they played good enough football to advance. It's going to be interesting because the style of play is different. Qatar is more lazy on the football, willing to make the football work, like pass it around, versus Honduras, they're fast-paced, attacking. So it's going to be a struggle for them. I think maybe they just need to adjust their style up because you have, probably one good, absolutely good midfielder for Qatar, and I don't know how he's going to feel being pressed and pressured by Honduras.
Well, the Nofir brother Afifi, right?
All I know fear man them pan the people in pitch a baller.
Yeah, I mean let's take a look at today's schedule for the Gold Cup, the games that are on tap for today, and also the path to the final before we get to Jamaica's group and discuss what's coming down for Jamaica. So the lay of the land, the path to the final. Group D winners will play Group A. Runners up. So of course the Qatar Honduras group will play the runners up in the Mexico El Salvador group. So of course you want to avoid that. And the big thing for Jamaica in Group C is that the winner of Group C will play the runners-up in Group B, which is the group with USA and Canada. So that is kind of the tricky thing for Jamaica. So your thoughts on the path to the final and the potential matchup in the round of 16?
We just don't want USA. We laugh and we say USA bring them C squad, but remember me tell you, growing into the tournament, they have grown into the tournament. I'm watching them play against Canada, and it's a different USA from the first game that we saw, even the second game that we saw.
Yeah.
So it is interesting that they have grown and Canada just look okay. So Jamaica would like to meet Canada in the next round.
And so with that with that position, come on, it's imperative for Jamaica to win the group, right? Win the group.
Win the group.
Yeah, win the group. So just to remind football family, and the quarterfinal matchup potentially group A winners will play Group D runner-up. Group D winners will play Group A runner-up, and Group B winners will play Group C runner-up, and Group C winners will play Group B runner-up. So that's the landscape of things. You could see a potential matchup between Mexico and Panama or Qatar in the next round. Come on. Providing that Mexico wins that group.
Hey, I don't even know, that is interesting. Ever since Trinidad held Mexico to a 1-1 draw, we know it's not 1-1, a 0-0 draw. We know anything is possible. When Mexico come out firing in the second game, and you're like, I wouldn't want to be the team that meets them in the quarterfinals when they're going to be ruthless. As I said, Qatar plays lazy, passing football. I don't know. And tomorrow playing tomorrow, whenever them play El Salvador.
Tuesday.
Not El Salvador, Honduras.
Yeah.
It's going to be telling. It's going to show us how, because Honduras plays the same kind of football as Mexico, attacking, fast pace and whatever. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adjust.
Yeah, let's take a look at the schedule for today in Concacaf Gold Cup action. We have currently going on USA versus Canada's current score, USA leading 1-0. Martinique versus Haiti, and Haiti is still leading 1-0 in that game. Right, come on. And then later on, Mexico versus El Salvador at 10 p.m. and Guatemala versus Trinidad and Tobago also at 10 p.m. Did Trinidad restore a bit of pride in this tournament as they go home from this tournament without a victory?
If
they go home without a victory, I mean, of course they have Guatemala tonight. Have they restored a bit of pride after the debacle of the World Cup qualifiers?
This is a debacle too. I mean, like this is a debacle. They have not won anything. Their claim to fame is the draw with Mexico. I mean, like, that's all they're celebrating. I don't know if we can say their tourney has been a success. Let us wait until tonight when them play. But you see, any other get bubbled by Guatemala, it is a no. Any other can go toe to toe, because guess what? They're playing free football, no pressure, right? So it depends on how they play tonight. I just see them play some free football before we talk about foot.
And football family, big up to the family in Trinidad. I will go out and say, as Junior always mentioned, we're the #1 rated show in Trinidad. I will say this, football show in Trinidad. I will say Angus Eve has restored a bit of pride to the Soca Warriors team. I thought they showed a lot more in these two games rather than what we saw in the World Cup qualifiers against St. Kitts and the likes, and Ghana. So let's take a look at Tuesday's upcoming schedule for Gold Cup matches. And of course, Suriname versus Guadeloupe, 7 p.m. This is Group C matches, but the big game in Group C is Costa Rica versus Jamaica. We'll preview that in a second. Ball Chat, we'll do a watch along for that game on Tuesday. And of course, the big game in Group D, Honduras versus Qatar, that's at 9 p.m. Prediction for this Honduras versus Qatar game. Come on, before we get to Jamaica
Oh, hold
versus.
on, before we say that, Junior is saying that fans are already banned from the Jamaica-Mexico World Cup qualification at the Azteca.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have to double check that because I was reading something about them trying to push off the ban on the female team. So that's what Junior is saying. Fans are already banned from. Okay.
You know what? Let's get you a quick comment. GGTH says hi, IKA Hibs fan, and big up yourself, family. We have a Hibs fan watching us there. And it's back to this prediction for Honduras versus Qatar. Come on, what you think on Tuesday before we get to Jamaica versus Costa Rica preview?
As I said, it's going to be interesting because Qatar is more lazy on the football, possession-based football versus Honduras, very fast. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-1 victory for Honduras.
Yeah, and that is good for Panama. So I'm going out on a limb. I'm all Concacaf. Let's send home Qatar. Send them back to Asia, Africa United. I am all about CONCACAF. Let's kick them up, and so Panama can get into the next round. I don't want Qatar to continue anymore in this competition. Let's send them.
That is the view of Ted.
That is the view, definitely the view of. All right, let's take a look at the Reggae Boys' upcoming game against Costa Rica and drill down and focus on this game. First of all, your thoughts on the Reggae Boys week. There's been a lot said overall, but Reggae Boys won their 2 matches. Your thoughts on the Reggae Boys now going into the game against Costa Rica?
Listen, we need to do better. We can't beat them. We can't beat Costa Rica if we're going to play like how we play versus Guadeloupe. It was poor. Kappa gave it a 6 out of 10. I think that was generous. I would give it a 3. We need to kind of utilize the players more. He says they were not clinical enough, which is true, and the midfield lacked connectivity. My question to Tapper is, what midfield? I mean, we don't play through the midfield. We play on the wing. So we have to do better defensively on the wings. I mean, like a complete team overall, a team change. Not necessarily the personnel, but we have to do better in order to beat Costa Rica. Costa Rica is kind of aging. Joel Campbell is doing exceptionally well. I was surprised when I saw him on the pitch like my spring chicken. But we have to do better for beat Costa Rica. We can't play like how we play versus Gordon. I would give our performance a 3 out of 10. Even though we win.
And big up to Devon. Devon says, come on, where the US match are sure. And that game is on Fox. Fox. It's local Fox 5 for me here in Atlanta. So
is it on Univision?
Yeah?
Is it on Univision?
And it might be also on Univision. So local Fox 5, so your local Channel 5 or Fox station, and also Univision. And it's currently 1-0 United States. We're in the 29th minute of play. So let's get back to the Reggae Boys. You said Tapa gave them a 6 out of 10. And as it pertains to Costa Rica, your thoughts? I mean, Joel Campbell is all like dirt. I thought Suriname ran them ragged in that game, and Suriname should have come away with something. In fact, card goes out to Ryan Duncan. Why didn't that Suriname team show up against Jamaica?
Hey, look here. It wasn't their first World Cup appearance. They were shell-shocked. That's the first thing. And second of all, just like how, as I said, Tapa says that Jamaica will go in tournament. Same thing because with some of the other team. And I did say it. If Suriname was our third team that we would play the third game, I think it would have been a different Suriname, result or more fight for us. But they were good. As I tell you already, Costa Rica is aging. Brian Ruiz is so good in the midfield, right? And he's old. And a couple players old. Kendall Watson is old as well. whoever we get as a starter, which I hope is Andre Gray, because he was lively when he came on. I think Kendall West is going to have a bit of a problem. And I think Damian Lowe will be okay enough to kind of neutralize Costa Rica's players. Number 22 for me for Costa Rica, I can't remember what his name is. He's not really that good. Because we saw number 12, Alphonse from Guadeloupe, running up and down the park. So we just need to play better, do better, and let go the individual kind of football, because that's what and we can't leave it as late as Kappa always wants to leave it late with his man management skills.
Starting lineup for Guadeloupe for Costa Rica against Suriname is up. Matarita is the number 22 you spoke of. You said he's quite vulnerable. Calvo picked up a red card in the game against Suriname, so he will be out for the game against the Reggae Boys. And Joel Campbell was one of the goal scorers. You got Oleg Borges. Brian Ruiz was added in. Benegas is also in there. Speed was a problem for Suriname, for Costa Rica in that game. Jamaica has speed, so clearly Jamaica should be able to utilize that speed against this Costa Rica team, because Suriname ran them ragged in terms of quickly up-tempo play.
Yeah, but if we don't finish, if we're not finishing, I mean, like, what is the purpose of the speed? We see where Shamar Nicholson missed 4 clear-cut chances. We can't afford those things to happen. If that's going to happen, we're going to, be on the losing end. It's not all about speed. We've seen players do possession play and still outplay other players who are fast. Look at Haiti. Haiti is fast. Haiti has speed. Haiti has strength. They match up well with us. But it's just the technical aspect and the finishing part that's always Haiti's downfall. And for us, we're doing better because we're scoring. The game before this, we had Shamar score, Bobby Reed score. Last game, we had a good goal from Corey Burr. But we need to do more in front of goal. We need to do better when it comes possessing the ball. And that's one of my problems too, because when I was watching the game, right? As soon as Andre Blake saved the ball, get the ball, roll it out, we have it. I tell you, all on your end and look back, the other team have the ball again. So we were losing possession. Even in the second half, we were kind of outplayed a little bit until the changes came on the pitch. So it's going to be different. We have the experience, we have the youth, we have the speed, but we just need to make sure that we put the ball in the back of the net. Goals win games.
Goals win games. The Reggae Boys starting 11 against Guadeloupe. Tapa went 4-4-2. Would you stick with the same starting 11? How would you modify? Daniel Johnson and Michael Hector was double pivot. There are those who believe that was too defensive an approach. Would you go 4-3-3? How would you change things, if any, for this team? And of course, assuming that all players are available for this game health-wise.
If we're not utilizing the midfield, we'll put 5 runner back, use the wings, and put it up top. If that's what we're going to do, because it don't make sense we have the players them in the midfield and no ball now goes through it to them. I wouldn't play Corey Burke and Shabar Nicholson together because they play the same way, and we really did not get much out of Shamar with Corey up top. I don't mind a 4-4-2, but we have to possess the ball better. We have to go to the midfield better. And I don't think Shamar and Corey really work well up top. Top of my whatever. But as long as you don't have a one striker, I am good. Because I always complain about the one striker football. We don't have the manpower, the ball feeding, magician for the striker to get the ball. So I don't mind a 4-4-2, but we have to do better in holding the ball, because after a while, the formation dissolves from a 4-4-2 to a puddle. When ice cream melts, that's what we're forming. Like everybody, because I could see Tapper on the keep on telling, he was keeping a ball, tell people say, hold your position, hold your space. And I was like, you must tell them big money. They don't know their position. He kept saying, stay here, go here, go here. So he has to figure out a way how to have get the best out of the players that we have on the pitch, because they're good players on the pitch.
Discussing the Reggae Boys versus Costa Rica game Tuesday, Ball Chat Watch Along again on Tuesday. We'll at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come on, would you start Junior Fleming and would you start Kamar Taxi Lawrence for this game on Tuesday against Costa Rica?
I would. But who would you start Fleming?
Well, of course, Kamar Taxi Lawrence for Amari Bell. And in terms of Junior Fleming, I mean, Blair Torgat come hold a seat.
I would.
Yeah, and would you?
I would. And then for all the people who are saying that Junior is a super sub, that's not even true. I've seen Junior give the same effort over 90 plus minutes. So, when he comes on the pitch, he's a live wire. I mean, I'm sorry, it's like Junior is paying for a contract because he's up and down the park. He's doing his defensive role, he's doing his attacking, he's passing the ball laid off. He's constantly running at defenders, and that's what we want. And that's what we saw with the game, when he came on and he scored the winning goal. That's what we need. And maybe Tapa needs to set the pace early, like banging some goals versus Costa Rica, and then make the chips fall where it may. But we have to start fast and strong and score quickly and early on Costa Rica.
Still 1-0, U.S. leading Canada. 1-0. We're in the 37th minute Concacaf Gold Cup action. The winner of this group, Group B, will play the runners-up in the Jamaica-Costa Rica group. So in midfield, would you go back to Jamaica and potential starting lineup or tweaks that you would make or we would make? But I don't know, we're armchair coach. Would you go with Devon Speedy Williams? I mean, Devon Speedy Williams came on and provide a bit of energy in that midfield. Or would you continue with Hector and Daniel Johnson in that double pivot role?
Listen, I'm probably one of the persons who thought Hector didn't do poorly in the last game. I wouldn't keep Hector. I would put Speedy on because as much as I like Hector, he's slow, and sometimes I think don't catch up with his movements at the same time. So I think for a minute he probably thinks what he needs to do. Versus Speedy, he's shorter, so his gravity lower, spin on a dime, and he's a little bit quicker. So I would definitely use Speedy and then see, him after do something, because the Hector thing now works. Daniel Johnson is a good footballer. I don't understand why people are saying that he's not doing well. He played for the 90 minutes, and I was not stressed by when he got the ball, when he needed to retrieve the ball. So I think he'll be okay, but I think I would put Speedy in there with him.
Big up to Rayon Williams Sports TV. We have a good team, just not tactically managed. Rayon also says we will play Canada in the next round, I believe. Well, that is what some of the fans want. They don't want to play USA yet. Big up Devon. Devon says, Samoans used to say, you got to treat the ball like your girlfriend. Keep it as long as possible. And Devon also says Flemings really should start. So you would go with Speedy Williams in midfield. You would go with Target on the bench and start Junior Flemings. And you would go with Taxi. Those are the changes that you would make if you were given it.
And I would. I know. All right. Everybody can have a bad game, but I just think that Shamar has a powerful shot, right? I would not start Shamar this game. In 2 games, Shamar has probably missed 6 clear, easy chances, so he should actually be on 7 goals. I would not start him. I would start Gray. Gray is older, so maybe he can't do the complete 90 plus minutes. I would bring Gray on and then maybe sub Shamar on in the 65th minute to run at them. Fresh leg, he has the pace, he has the power, he has the powerful shot. Because outside of Junior Fleming's goal, all of our goals came from outside the box. Outside the 18. I think I wouldn't start Shamar. I would start Gray, and then I would bring Shamar on in the 65th minute, fresh legs and just to run at Costa Rican defense.
Okay, and of course Corey Burke and Andre Gray is the potential starters for you. Up top.
Yes.
All right. All right. Keys for the game for you. Come on. And let's put a bow on this. Reggae Boys versus Costa Rica. Keys for the game. What does the Reggae Boys must do to win this game? What they must do to nullify Costa Rica? How is Costa Rica a threat to the Reggae Boys, in your opinion?
Because we have no midfield, I think they will pick us apart right there. You know, if Brian Ruiz is allowed to dictate the middle of the park, we're going to be in trouble. He's a good distributor of the ball. And so we need to make sure that we hold the ball, like the commentator said, hold the ball, control the middle of the park.
As Timoy said, hold the ball like your girlfriend.
Right. Hold the ball, control the middle, and when our opportunities come, just don't miss the goal, man.
And so that Brian Ruiz is a big factor for what Costa Rica does. We know he's a baller. Him and Borges in that, they're both ballers. Should Tapa focus somebody on breaking up breaking up the play, or trying to man mark a Brian Ruiz, or just try to limit his touches?
Limit Brian Ruiz touches. You can man mark the player, but you can't man mark the ball. You really can't. So you're going to be on him. But are you going to be able to cut off the angle where Maka distribute the ball? So what we need to do is control our midfield. We need to hold the ball, play keep it away from him, keep it away from old Joel Campbell, because Joel Campbell has no issues with running at people, light tackling with him, old foot self, and he really knows how to score goals. DUI is saying, I agree, Hector isn't doing bad, but he's not comfortable in that role. And I agree with you 100%. He looks uncomfortable on the ball. But when he's, given the opportunity to play for us, he does his best.
Yeah, big game on Tuesday. Reggae Boys versus, final prediction, come on, Reggae Boys versus Costa Rica, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Your official prediction in terms of this game?
1-0 Reggae Boys.
1-0 Reggae Boys. 1-0. We need Reggae Boys, we say. Reggae Boys, we need.
Well, and DY says start Taxi, start Gray, start Speedy, and switch Leon Bailey to the left side.
And switch Leon Bailey. And as it pertain to Leon Bailey, probably give him a little bit more flexibility to roam. Sometimes if it's not working on the right, switch side with the other player on the left, and just move around a bit. Give them different options. But 7 p.m. on Tuesday, Reggae Boys versus Costa Rica. Ball chat, watch along live. Current score 1-0. United States leading Canada still in the first half as United States look to win Group B. Mexico versus El Salvador later on in Group A, top of the table clash. Come on, let's get ready to go to Yard Ballers and discuss some Jamaican football news as it pertains to Jamaican football. Jamaican Premier League running hot, but Cavaliers is doing quite well, surprisingly. Come on.
Surprisingly, very surprisingly, the Donovan Bookie-led Bear is actually a surprise for us, because he went there recently. Yeah. So it's just interesting to see. The quality of football, it has fallen off. I was enjoying the Premier League, no side tackle, no red card, no foolishness, and it's just like it just gone to hell. So everybody, red card, some crazy, ridiculous slide tackling, some foolishness. So I don't know what, none of the pitch get bad or something, but the play is not as good. As of right now, Harborview is in the lead, followed by Veer, then Cavalier, then Portmore. Waterhouse is there. Humble Lions has lost all their games, and they're firmly planted, in the cellar. Your Lions is not.
Lions was leading Mount Pleasant 1-0 earlier, I think. So who knows? Maybe more Lions have held on.
It has not been updated, but has not been updated. But you don't have fully right above Humble Lions.
What?
Go
ahead, come on. Go ahead.
So we also defend Lions team, and Lions not good enough.
No, as it pertains to the table, Humble Lions sitting at the bottom. Coach Andrew Price spoke about the truncated season. The first game he spoke about his players getting and going. But at what point will his players get going? Because it seems like everybody's is getting ready to beat the brakes off Humble Lions.
This is training for Coach Price. So when the next season starts, they'll be ready. They'll be fit and they'll be ready to play the next season. Because this is not working out. They've lost all their... And it's not that they're playing poorly, They're really not playing poorly. They were unfortunate today to get a red card. Let's talk about a red card. So they were 10 men versus Veer, even though they came and they lost 3-1. So it Coach Price and Humble Lions will be ready for next season. I don't understand the firing of Tigat. Listen, for me, like Tigat, when them call me the third time, me don't go back. First is disrespect, and the second time is utter and complete disrespect, Coach Tigat. Don't go back here. It's not your place. Don't go back. So they fired him, which is so stupid because it's a short season. Nobody can get promoted. Nobody can get relegated. They're playing the young players. They're not doing poorly. So for them to fire Tigat, it was kind of like a little bit of craziness. So before I finish up before I go to the guys in USL, so Cavalier beat Arnett 3-0. Chanel Thomas had a brace. Arborview beat Dumberhole 2-0. Akwasa Chang is actually, I think he's leading the goal scoring table by 4 goals. Very good player. I hope to see him in Tapa's World Cup qualification.
We can't market to everybody. Just let the youth play well.
I am marketing the young man because his interview was good and he actually is doing very well. So Akosa Chang and Tevin Scott scored. As Mr. Veer beat Humble Lions 3-1. Linval Lewis with a full tackle with a red card in the 31st minute. And then you have Ricardo Messam with a brace and Andre Gale with 1 goal for Veer. Andrew Vanzi scored the lone goal for her, Humble Lions. So Marla Sweatman, the reggae girl, she signed a contract with Haladas Victoria in the Hungary Women's Football League. So congrats to her. Our girls are, playing football ahead of our World Cup qualification. In USL, Nika Daly of Charleston Battery scored 1 goal to help his team beat Hartford 3-1 in USL. Our boys are not doing badly. Dane Kelly's on 6 goals. Nico Brett is on 8 goals. Deshane Beckford is on 3. And Nika, as I said, Daly is on 3. In MLS, we have one player who's doing very well, Javane Brown. He just got drafted to Vancouver Whitecaps. He's now a regular starter. He's playing 90-plus minutes. His crosses are excellent, and he's doing really, really well. He's really turning heads, and people are taking notice. And this is kind of crazy, though. So, Damari Gray of Bayern Leverkusen, Everton wants him to come back to England. He was at Leicester. He went to Leverkusen with Bailey. Now they're talking about him coming to play for Everton. Young people, they say that unfollowing someone on Instagram shows the intent. If that's the case, then Damari Gray unfollowed England FA and he's now following JFF. Take from that what you will. I don't know him. Become player for Jamaica. So that's interesting. So we will see. Ravel, apparently we're not going to see Ravel in the World Cup because the visa thing don't start out. He is trialing for Derby County. He started and played 65 minutes in a friendly in a 2-1 loss versus Manchester United. It never looked bad. And our Norman Campbell was subjected to monkey chance in his debut for his new club in Serbia, and he walked off the pitch. So it's unfortunate to see. Some fans are saying that it's not, an indication of the club itself. There's a handful of players. So I hope Norman is okay, and I hope the club and the FA take action. That's it for us. There's nothing else going on. Just watch Jamaica Premier League people because that's all we got.
Yeah. Big up to the Jamaican Premier League and Norman Campbell. Big up yourself, family. Just don't know. Go on, chad your road. It's tough out the road, but We have a special guest joining us. I think Shamai Sweeney joining us online. Shamai is a huge fan of the Reggae Boys, or have views on the game against Costa Rica and have views about Jamaican football. Shamai, are you there? How are you doing, Bridget? Seems like Shamai is muted. Seems like, all right, if we get Shamai Sweeney up,
Yes, greetings.
Greetings. Bless up yourself, family. How you doing?
Blessings. Good evening. Watch out
Hey,
family. Benton, come on. What's up?
Yeah, man.
nice to have you on. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, so Shamai, before we get your thoughts on Jamaican football, just tell us a little background about yourself. You're based in the island, or you off the island, and how your connection with football. You're just a fan of the game like the rest of us, or you play at a certain level.
No, well, I am in Jamaica now. I live in Kingston.
Yeah,
I attend the Michael University College.
yeah,
So from growing up, I always loved sports. It was either between football and track and field, but I love both. But now it's football. So my father actually, I got a hand-me-down PSP from one of my cousins,
yeah.
and the first game that I got with the PSP was FIFA '07. You know, when you hear the goal score, the net sound like when she tear here.
Yes, push. Yeah,
So
yes.
it was like from that started using Real Madrid, and it's just that club ever since.
Yeah,
So yeah, from I was like 12, 13 from them time. So it's Real Madrid club, and internationally it's France, like no other team.
yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I like how the
On
Jamaicans playing though.
Repeat that, come on.
to Jamaica, you say international, it's France. When
No,
you go about Jamaica,
I'm just coming to it. I'm
oh,
just coming to it. I like how they are playing. I just think the biggest issue is the consistency with the starting 11. That's why them all over the place. Them don't have a chemistry. Like we have 22 members like permanently. I think JFF needs to do like how they do it internationally. Like you have a short list of players that you know is a must. They will play for Reggae Boys. And then you have those that don't bring everybody in one and just this big confusion. You need to be just let the players know that okay, so he's here and will certainly be for the Gold Cup. And just like get practice matches in, get the chemistry going from way before. Not when the thing is almost here, then they're going to be all over the place. So we can't really blame them for how they're playing. Actually, you can't blame them because this is like the first official tournament for the players playing together. So I mean, they're doing well so far. I'm not, they're doing well. They're getting it.
Yeah. So it's a lot to expect them to just show up and play some fancy ball, because like you said,
Yes, it's a lot.
yes,
It's a lot.
yes. Football family, we have ball chat is all about discussing football, and we have a guest joining us, Shamai Sweeney, discussing getting his thoughts on the landscape of football, about Jamaican football and Costa Rica versus Jamaica game coming up here on Tuesday. Shamai, and come on, quick, want to get your thoughts, because this is something that Jamaican football fans have been talking about, but it's been a global issue when it pertains to formation, when it comes to national team and identity. There are a lot of those who demand that, Tapa needs to have an identity. What is the identity of the Reggae Boys, etc., etc. But there are those who believe that it's almost near impossible for a head coach to have an identity with a national team for many reasons. One of the main one is that he or she only sees those players for very limited time. So the ability to install an identity with that team is definitely too much to ask. Do you guys agree? What's your position on that? Or should it be down to the head coach to implement an identity for the national team, or it's up to the federation? Shama, you are the guest. You can go ahead first.
Okay, so I see. First Tapa used to play for. I will know that Tapa used to play for Reggae Boys. So I think like how he used to be like playing. He should have some sense of how it was back in '98 when they were playing. So I would say he might not be the most experienced coach, but I think he just he has the idea, but I don't think he know how to really go about it.
Okay.
But I think him have the idea because in '98, you have the top out tearing down the wings, the burden up there. But this team, it looks too defensive. They don't have that midfield maestro, or they don't have like minister for the defense. Sometimes it's like them on and off.
Yeah.
I think him have the tactics, but he just don't know how to put it down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's two different team from '98. This team is a different team. This team is too defensive minded, and maybe it's him just not finding the way why them playing like this. But I think he know what him doing. He just need more time. But I guess people running out of patience with it now.
Yeah, yeah. It's come on, your thoughts on it. I mean, I ride with Tapa. Let me well, not ride, but I fully support Tapa because at the end of the day, he's been a servant to the Reggae Boys and he's getting results. I mean, Tapa has what 54 victories, one shy of Rene Simoes 55, and Rene Simoes is definitely treated like a god in some circles in Jamaica. So come on, your thoughts on the identity question. I mean, is it the responsibility of a head coach like a Tapa to implement the identity, or that is something that's left to the federation?
Tapa is the coach,
Yeah.
right? So the team wins and the team loses depends on Tapa's guidance. And that's why we see the coach are the first person to go when a team does not do well. Them don't get rid of the players like that. In regards to his job in creating an identity, of course he sees these players now and then. First of all, I hear people talk about Tapa is supposed to teach a player this. No, the club is supposed to teach a player how to play football, and the player is going to bring over what they learned from the club to help the national team. Tapa and his technical staff supposed to watch film, so you're supposed to know a player's weaknesses and you're supposed to know a player's strengths. If Tapa says 4-4-2 fit my team, this is what I want to do, then he works on the formation for 4-4-2. He puts the players who have the ability to play in that 4-4-2 formation. So he needs to make sure that we have an identity because the team is a reflection of the coach. There's no player on the national team that plays like Tapa in the midfield. There's nobody. There's no player that really they can say, okay, Tapa is molding this player in his image. We don't have that. But he has to form this identity. He has to make one. And yes, it's his job to get the players that fit the system that he wants to play. You can't just get the player and say, okay, then fine. You're good on the wing, your left foot, so now put the ears down. No. Make sure the player fits your 4-4-2 or whatever system that you want, your 5-4, whatever you want to play. Make sure that they identify what you want. So Tapa is to be blamed if the Reggae Boys don't form an identity. And I disagree that he's new. Tapa has been in this job for a while. And we know the JFF don't have the money to really pay a top-notch coach. And Tapa has actually achieved more than Winnie Schaefer, if we're going to be honest. But at some point, do we always want to be a runner-up? We don't want to win Gold Cup. He has taken us to finals. We've never been able to win the cup. And at what point do we say Tapa is not the man to take us forward? Is it when we don't quite? What is the measuring stick? Are we going to say that if Tapa don't take us to World Cup with all he has an embarrassment of riches when it comes to players, good players? If Tapa does not take us to the World Cup, are we going to still stick by Tapa because he's a Jamaican legend?
No, so my metric for Tapa and so is the Gold Cup and ultimately the World Cup. That's the ultimate prize. I'm curious to see how they go about it in this Gold Cup. They're on the verge of qualifying for the next round in the Gold Cup. It's a very tricky situation because, like you said, he's done better than Winifred Schaefer, but Winifred Schaefer was highly paid by the previous administration, and also ultimately we've tried these high-priced foreign coaches before, right? We've tried Boran Milutinovic, we've tried Sebastian Lazzaroni, we've tried Clovis de Oliveira, and these people are not cheap. They're not cheap. So, I mean, unless there is somebody else who is forwarding on, from around a corner who want to work for bag juice and small change. I think Tapa is definitely, not that Tapa is getting bag juice, but you get what I'm saying, Shamoy, and come on, that's...
Yeah, but do we want to win a trophy or not? Do
Yes.
we want
Yes.
to say our coach is a legend? He went to the World Cup, he scored on Japan in 1998. Our coach has done better than these high-paid coaches. Our coach takes us to the final 3 years in a row. I mean, is that the measuring stick? Is that what we're going to use to say, all right, then, we don't want to win World Cup, we only want to qualify. We don't want to win the finals in Gold Cup, we only want to reach the finals. We only want to win Caribbean Cup, we only want to beat up the Minnows. I mean, like, what is it that we really want? And are we really hanging our hats too high? Are we expecting too much from Tapa? What are we doing? The JFF bringing Paul Hall, who's a very good coach, to assist him. What is the measuring stick? How long are we going to stick with Tapa because he's a legend without winning anything really tangible? Because the Caribbean Cup is okay, but we want to win the Gold Cup. And I asked this question already. The teams, not Canada, America, Mexico, they're beatable. Years gone by, we used to look at them and say, we'll never beat them. No, it's like we will go toe-to-toe with them. If not now, we're in Benton. Not, the JFF recruited all these players. We have the English-born players who, before we never have them, from Dion Burton time or whatever. But now we're getting these good players. Antonio is a good player. We have Ravel. We have Andre Gray. I mean, like, if Damari Gray come, like, what is it that we want? Do we want to always be bridesmaids and never bride?
Yeah, good question. Shamai, go ahead and answer that for me, please. Football family, we have Shamai Sweeney joining us on Ball Chat Podcast, getting some discussion about the Reggae Boys. We're talking about Tapa's tenure and what are expectations for the Reggae Boys in this tournament. It would be great to win the Gold Cup. Let me say, I mean, yes, Tapa's taking us to two finals. It would be great to win the Gold Cup. But I know that we need to also make it to the World Cup because that's where the big money is in terms of playing. Go ahead, Shamoy. Seems like we may have lost.
Yes, I do agree. I think we are more than capable to make the World Cup every 4 years. Not just, and we can also be the top team in the Caribbean because we have so much talent here. And we just can't seem to, when they go overseas, to get back, like players who are putting in the numbers and get decent formation that, as I said previously, the identity of the Reggae Boys. We don't have an identity at the moment. But when Tapa can get it together and get all the talented players, because I even think like players who play Manning Cup and Dakar Cup can even make a good Reggae Boy team. The talent is here, but I guess, well, obviously JFF don't invest enough in football. So when we don't have the support system, well, the end product will always be weak.
Yeah. So that's a very good point. So the JFF again, the big point. If the infrastructure and the support is not there, come on. To the point that bridesmaid never a bride. As fans, should we expect to be a bride? I mean, the teams that win Gold Cup usually they have the infrastructure and things in place.
Yeah, I mean, I agree to an extent. Yes, the Jamaica don't invest in young players. We should have like a funnel, right? We're supposed to have like U13, U15, U17, U20s, U20s, because those age groups have tournaments. They have competitions. So we should be competing at all those levels, right? It makes no sense for us also to have the top tier football league in Jamaica, and we can't consistently funnel players from that to the national team program. It just seems like a waste, right? But then JFF is going out there and they're recruiting the people who don't want to play for another country and bringing them in and giving Tapa the job of trying to make all those egos, all them players that who already learned them bad habits somewhere else to come, and he will have to make them gel and make them work. So JFF really need to start doing better in investing in our players, in all the youth players at all levels, so that we can sustain the national program. I mean, look at Panama. They're not really doing crazy good in this World Cup. But look at Panama. I can tell you there's a couple of players on the Panama's national team that played U17. And if you look at their stats and whatever, you see where they play U17, U20, U23, and they transition to the national team. That's something that we need to do. And I guess that way now we will basically have an identity, and Tapa will actually have a say, because he'll go and watch them play. He'll have a say as to what players fit his program and what he wants to do, versus getting all these players who already learn them habits of club and then come back here and try to jail. So it's an issue for Tapa as well. And yes, the people who run our football association should do better. They have to invest in not only a building and the football field, they have to invest in the players as well.
Yeah. All right, football family, let's try to get Shamoy's thoughts on the game against Costa Rica coming up. We already heard Kamon's thoughts on it. Before we get to that, let's get through some quick comments. DY says Tapa is doing well. The identity is though because there are players going in and out of the squad very frequently. The one constant that I think we should be taking advantage of is speed. He also says we have speed, but we never seem to use it to our advantage. Look at Japan. We beat them in 1998 World Cup. They progress, and we are in the same place or worse. Very good point. Fritz says, first, the Jamaican football system needs to support true talent. Many good footballers being to clubs out here and never get opportunity because of biases. I remember one year I went to a team that was just going back to the Premier League, and every day the coach would speak about my talent, but when the selection came around, I never got selected. As an example. So Fritz giving his own experience. And Mark, big up yourself, family. Mark joined us on FlowSports. It's a complicated thing. It's a lot of factors, a lot of variables. We would love to have the Reggae Boys win the Gold Cup. Yes, I mean, we should expect to win tournaments when we step into them. And the point that DY said regarding Japan is very, very, a very strong point, because both Japan and the US and the Reggae Boys got Gold Project money for qualifying for France 1998. They got Gold Project grant, and it seems like one country used it wisely, the other did not. And that's a whole bag of conversation right there, sir. Any comments or any thoughts on that comment from DYs? No thoughts. Come on, our Shamoy. All right, Shamoy, let's get your thoughts on the Costa Rica versus Jamaica game. Your thoughts and your prediction for this game coming up on Tuesday. What does Jamaica need to do to nullify Costa Rica's threat? Seems like Shamoy's audio is acting up there. Football family. Let's see if we've lost Shamoy. Seems we've lost him. Let's letting him back in. You don't know, with internet stuff is pretty interesting. The score is still 1-0 in terms of the US. US leading Canada 1-0. We're in the 51st minute. Winner of the US Canada group will play the runners-up in the Jamaica-Costa Rica group. So the notion is that Jamaica wants to avoid USA in the next round, in the round of 16. Shamoy, are you back with us? Let's see. He's not back.
So Malines 2 and Mount Pleasant 2.
Malines 2 and Mount Pleasant. Wait, so Malines could even just... Malines couldn't even take the point. Come on, as we wait for Shamoy to come in and let him wrap up. Let him get his final thoughts on the Costa Rica game as we wrap up the show. Any final takeaway for this game on Tuesday? How big it is for us to just probably beat Costa Rica and send a statement for World Cup qualifiers when we know we will see them.
Yeah, and I just think people are saying that we shouldn't be afraid to play the USA and play teams, but that's okay. If we can try to eat at the bit side, we can beat them up. And I think watching Canada play, Canada is that eat at the bit side, and I would rather meet Canada. So everybody I dive for the pitch. I would rather play Canada, easy kind of game, and get through to the quarterfinals than have to go through rugby, not quarterfinals, the semis, and then gone away yard. So I think we have to win versus Costa Rica, and we can win versus Costa Rica. We match up with them real well. As I said, speed. It's just that we need to hold the ball more. We have to, be a little bit better when it comes to possession. We can't just. To me, it was like hot patty. Like when you get the patty thing and it's hot and you drop it. So we get the ball. It's like we definitely have to keep it. Nobody want to keep it. Nobody want to caress the ball. So we have to kind of change it a little bit. And just,
Mark says anybody Jamaica plays in the next round, we will beat. Shamai is joining us again. Shamai, as we wrap up the show, want to get your thoughts on the game against Costa Rica and your official prediction.
I think the Rugby Boys will win because they want to finish atop the group. But also, it don't really matter, the stronger they come, the harder they fall. So if we get a USA, I think they're right now. Maybe it's the best thing for us, but I think they will win. But if we get beaten in the midfield, then it's over. But I think they will win 1-0.
Okay, so Jamaica will win 1-0 on.
Jamaica will win 1-0. Stop the group
on Tuesday. Ball chat watch along this Tuesday. Wherever you're watching us now, we'll have a watch along again. And hopefully we'll celebrate the Reggae Boys' victory against Costa Rica. Before we go, I noticed you posted a message about Chong of Harborview in the Jamaican Premier League. You're watching him play. Are you, as Camon spoke about him earlier, what is your impression of his play? And the Jamaican Premier League on a whole, Shamai?
I wish about a flow.
Yes.
Chong is doing well. He's been doing good from in Manning Cup JC.
Yeah.
He's doing great. A lot of players doing great. Webster from Cavalier is doing well. This striker from winger, I would say Cephas from Arnett. If he would be more clinical in his finishing product, he could have been leading the goal scoring. But I think we have to give Atsav the Premier League for the field that they actually did for the Premier League this season. And the players, though, I think they're lacking the proper training and the programs.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not lack of preparation for the season. But I think it's going well so far. A lot of teams playing disappointing, like Umbalayan. They are a seasoned Premier League team, and they're really playing bad. Even Dumby Olen doing great. Arnett. Well, Arnett not doing good, but Arnett is doing good. Harborview is doing good.
Arnett, Arnett is in 8th position. What kind of good you talk about?
Arnett is in 8th position.
They're not losing today.
They got 3 from Cavalier, right?
Yeah. So this is it now. So these are the standings. Harborview, very surprising me because they just got Dookie. So when they talk about Premier League, you don't really talk about Veer. Them talk about the Arnett and the Cavaliers and the Mount Pleasant. So we have Harborview, Veer, Cavalier, Portmore, Waterhouse, Tivoli, Mount Pleasant, Arnett, Dumbeholen, Mullines, and
don't bother call Mullines' name, okay? Just easy.
Mullines suck. But hold on a second. Tell me what you think about the Mount Pleasant firing of Tigat. You think it's a wise move?
No, I think they had a great project going. I don't know why they failed. I don't know if it's impatience or is a behind the scene, behind the door issue that they have. But up front, they seem to have like the team is there. Like I was saying, they would be leading the Premier League. Like I had expectations from Mount Pleasant, but I don't know why they failed to that.
And maybe that's why a lot of us had high expectation for Mount Pleasant, and you have to
Yeah,
start.
but
I mean,
money, yeah,
Mount
but
Pleasant.
money. But as a Barcelona fan, Benton, you realize that money does not translate to success.
Yeah, but at the same time, we have to move on from the coach. No disrespect, family. I mean, ultimately, he needs more time, but at the end of the day, Mount Pleasant did invest heavily in that squad. And so there's a lot of expectation. I have a quick question before we wrap up the show. Dumbo Holden coach abruptly left. Now, how does that affect Dumbo Holden? And can they stay up and make some noise in this tournament? They won a game the other day.
Them ninth.
Were you surprised by the abrupt departure of coach? His name is slipping my mind. Shamoy.
Oh, Dumbo, hold on there.
It seems
I don't know
like
the coach of number Holland.
I think it's Coach Thomas is the I'm slipping my name, but he departed abruptly, and so an interim coach took over, led them to a recent
Harold Thomas,
yeah
him quit.
yeah man him left abruptly.
I forgot to look for that, but never see that. But look here.
The European rubbing off on us like the coach is leaving, like so. I guess
Like
it's
the one like a Chelsea owner own them, because I'm like, what is it? Because this is my thing, I understand what they're saying, but the season is short, right? There's no promotion, there's no relegation. Isn't this the time where you experiment? You're bringing some youth, you're bringing some new players. Remember, you can't have a lot of players on the roster. Forget how much coach price there. You can't substitute more than whatever. So I mean, like, isn't this the time for you, to kind of experiment with the team? Use this as a warm-up tournament, like a friendly tournament. Because you can't go down, you can't go up. So why are you firing the coaches? Why are you allowing the coaches them to
Well,
quit when you don't get the results where you expect? It don't make no sense to me. This is not Chelsea.
I mean, go ahead, Shamoy. Let me see if I can find that information.
adding to what Common said. I mean, and Jamaica, to be honest, Jamaica don't have a bag of coaches sitting down waiting to get up time. A man can just get up off the corner and say, you know what, give me a run out of the team. Give me a run out of the team and thing. And them act like them have the money to recruit. Like they are like 24 great coaches here. We don't have a lot of great coaches here sitting around. So it don't make sense to parent the coaches without seeing. They don't just wait and see what the end product is, how well the team did, and then you grade them. Like after that, they can't be doing it midterm, mid-season.
Well,
Yeah.
him no more get a job because they recycle the same coaches over and over. So even when you fail, maybe in the Super League, Major League, I mean, even when you fail, you know that a hookup is going to get you a job. So who cares? But it's just stupid that for me, I can't get relegated this season. So what may I go? Just go and work with the flex and bring in some players and use some players. Then that's ridiculous. But
Yeah,
anyway, behind the scenes.
So Teagat is out at Mount Pleasant. Saw a report that Dumbo Holden's coach abruptly left, and so that was prior to the last game. We'll go ahead and confirm that. Football family, let's wrap up. Shamo, I really appreciate. So, which of these Premier League teams do you support, if any? Because I'm aligned, some always saying.
Well, all right. So as I said previously, my father started my passion for the sport. So my father used to work at Brandcourt in Clarendon. I'm from Clarendon. So when
Okay.
Sporting Central Academy used to be in the Premier League, that was the team that I supported. So being from Clarendon, you have to support the Clarendon team. So Lion and stuff. But but what first love was Sporting Central, but them now make it back.
Okay.
But Lion.
All right, family. All right, football family. Thank you for joining us. Shamai, respect. Thank you for taking the time, family. And we're looking forward to the game on Tuesday at 7 p.m. against Costa Rica. Ball Chat Watch Along will be on FlowSports Ball Chat YouTube page. Football family, come on, see, I hit that, we are going way out, because we have to settle ourselves and get ready for Costa Rica's game on Tuesday. Any final statement, any final thoughts or comments you want to say, come on, before we head out?
As I said, thanks for coming on, Shamoy. We look forward to seeing you again. You're part of the Ball Chat family now, so feel free to drop by. We always like to hear from fans, but also like to hear from football supporters, because all of we love the same game. We just need to win. That's all I say. We have a destiny in our hands. As I said, them two teams here, soft soap, but we want the softer soap, We want the one where you rub out the soap and a little piece left in the soap dish, and you have to stick two of them together to make one. Canada we want. So that's what we need to do. We need to just do what we're supposed to do, win the group, and get the idiot side so we can advance.
Yeah, United States currently U.S. leading Canada 1-0, 62nd minute of play. Winner of this group will play the second place team in the Jamaica's group. Jamaica's group winners will play the runner-up in Group B also. All right, football family, and of course later on tonight, you have Big Bad Mexico versus El Salvador. Tata Martino trying to figure out his tactics as El Salvador is leading that group in Group A. Football family, thank you for joining us. We know you have a lot of choices on Sundays for football discussion. Thank you for joining us. Shamai Sweeney, big up yourself, family.
Thanks for coming on. Junior, big up yourself. And the Ball Chat family. It's a pleasure being here with you this evening. Looking forward to the podcast next week, the other week. I'm going to always be tuning in.
Yeah, man. And we love your Jamaican football discussion. We love the thoughts and the comments you have on, because you're seeing these players week in and week out. So you don't know. We're going to have to wait a reason if you want to join in. As Camon says, anytime, we always want fans come in and give their thoughts, All right. Football family, we're on Instagram at Ball Chat Podcast. We're on Twitter at Ball Chat 1. We're on Facebook at Ball Chat. You can email us at ballchatpodcast@gmail.com. Yo, we're gonna roll now, family. Bless up.
Bless up.